Okay, ready? Hello, welcome to Production Grade. I am Chelsea. I am a front-end engineer and tech lead at O'Reilly Media with about 8+ years experience. Um, yeah.
Okay. And I'm Stephanie. I've been a software engineer for about 10 years. I worked at Microsoft, GitHub, and Twitch, and a couple of other companies. Um, yeah, so thanks for joining us today. Please like, subscribe, comment, check us out on YouTube. Yeah, so what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah. Today I thought we would talk about the current landscape of state management in React. My day to day is very React based, and I've worked with React for like a pretty long time, and it's just interesting to see the history of state management, and I think we're at a very interesting place in time when it comes to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I worked with I'm primarily like backend and infra, so but I'm full stack, so I've worked in the front end a little bit, but I remember like the first time that or like the last time I really worked with React, like built a web app 0 to 1 was like 10 years ago. And the landscape has changed a lot. Back then it was about Redux. Now it's like React isn't even exactly what you use anymore. So it's very interesting. But yeah, in addition to that, we are going to cover some tech tool tips. So I guess if we want to cover the tech tool tips first, we'll give you that. You will hang around, listen to us. So Chelsea, if you want to do you want to start with the tech tool tip?
Yeah. I don't have any I guess like external tool to give right now, but I guess the general tip is working on Claude skills, like even small ones can really improve your workflow. I recently built a couple and they've increased our efficiency by a lot. The first one is a scope statement creator, so it has a interactive Q&A with the user.
But okay, so actually a lot of people have never touched a Claude skill before. They may have some idea about what it is and what it does, but do you want to explain what is a Claude skill? And then talk about what the skill is that you made, as an example.
Yeah, a Claude skill is essentially a set of instructions or references for Claude um, to have for a specific task. So you can like really tailor the Claude experience to what you need. And it can also plug into um, other people's skills or MCPs. Um, so, for example, um, we have a plugin where it connects to the Jira MCP and it allows us to make a template and automate the ticket creation process. Um, I have that skill is actually part of a whole skill. That's a plugin that is part of a skill that I created, um, which allows us to automate the planning of accessibility audits. So every year, our platform goes through an accessibility audit. Any findings that are anywhere on the platform, we get them, and it's normally like a giant CVS file. And prior we would have to like go through and manually see where on the platform it is, who owns it, because it could be coming from a library as well. So you can't just go to the page and go off of that. And then come up with a fixed solution. Does it need design QA? All of that now lives in a skill. So we have references to the mapping of the pages and the repos that belong to those pages. We also have references to our internal libraries. And the thing that's cool about the skills is, it's kind of a set of instructions. So as it's going through these findings and finding the repo and the code attached to the issue, it can also update its own references. So that's what it's doing. So every time it runs an audit, it gains more information and improves itself. So yeah.
That's really impressive. That's cool.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then it outputs a file that for tracking we're putting into something. And then in theory, if you wanted to, you could just take the output and run the other plugin to create the tickets. We're doing that, but we're doing it from the other place that we're storing them in. So yeah, it's really made it fast and like really,
Cool.
yeah.
So is this specifically tailored to your company, or is this something that could potentially be shared out as just a skill? Because I'm sure like a lot of companies probably have to do this kind of auditing, right? That's like a legal requirement depending on maybe company size. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question. It is pretty tailored to the internal setup just because it's set up to consume the the format of the third party that we use, but I think I could pretty easily make it generic enough to share. Um, yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts between like sharing and keeping them customized? Because that's like one thing at my company where it's like we have an internal marketplace and
Hmm.
it's kind of like a mix between people just like, I don't know, putting it on their repo and being like, if you want it, you can grab it versus putting it like up on the marketplace.
I don't know. Like I always share, I at first I was hesitant about sharing my commands because it's almost like is that my usefulness, like if I am really good at writing commands and skills and stuff, like if I share my secrets, somebody else is gonna. But then I don't know, I just kind of like always lean into sharing stuff. So I started sharing them, including like my PR reviews and everything. Um, and I put them into the repos and made them available for everybody. But I'm not sure if anybody realizes I put them there or if they think Claude did. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is share them if you can. Yeah.
I'm definitely like pro sharing. But also I think it's good to uh I think it's good to encourage people to build their own skills and also like customize the skills. Um,
Right. Yeah.
I think like I personally like for my work, I have my own repo that I'll put my skills up, but I haven't put anything on the marketplace yet, just because then then everything that I would make would have to be generic enough.
Right. I get what you mean. Yeah. Or it has to be like have a generic version that can be made less generic. But yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like I open sourced my stuff, but I do have a not open source version. But yeah, I don't know, put it on the market. Maybe it's like sometimes it's just kind of cool to have your stuff out there, right? Like, wow,
That's
people are using my skill. Like, that's cool.
that's true. That's
Oh, did you have another thing to share or want to talk more about that?
Oh, do you have?
I do. Okay. So I have just recently created my dog food version, but I will also be just having a beta release, a free release for the first 20 people to begin with of Klaussy. So this is an app you can use for it's currently for Claude code development. It's terminal first, it's made for multi-terminal, multi-agent. You can also, open up bash terminals as well with it along with the Claude terminals. Um, but you can do the entire developer flow. Like it's more natural than using like the Claude Code desktop app, which is built more for like design, maybe front end. I don't know. I mean, have you ever used it, Chelsea, for the front end? Like,
I just use it from like the terminal mainly. Like I
yeah,
have
right. You normally we use it from the terminal and then we open up via like Visual Studio afterwards, check our stuff. But I was like, this is getting really annoying. I have all these terminals open and I keep on having to open up this like outside app. Why don't I just put these all into one app? And then I was like, so then I spent a few months just working on this, putting it together with like Git work trees, multiple terminals, a very fluid like file system with editability. You can look at the PR, you can review the PR. There's additional like AI stuff added in there for like explaining and helping you review and ask questions. And then I also added in a specific PR review section where you can paste in a PR link from like GitHub, and then it shows you the entire conversation, the file changes, the you can do an AI review and review the AI review output. But yeah, so it's pretty cool stuff.
give us your tooltips.
Yeah, give us your tool tips. Tell us what projects you've been working on lately. I know that there's a lot of really cool projects out there. Yeah.
Sorry, one second. Let me just
Oh,
put it in. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of cool things. Um, yeah, I just finished making a skill because I have a presentation tomorrow.
nice.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to make slides.
Yeah.
So I just made a skill to make slides for me.
That's awesome. Wait, like, do you just feed it the information you want in the slide and then it makes it? And like, how does it make the slide? Like,
Yeah, it's again, it's like a live Q&A. So um it asks you like first you just like put in the information and
mhm,
then it gives you options for different slide themes.
mhm,
So I wanted them to be very animation heavy and very pretty. So it gives you like 3 or 4 live demos of different variations. You pick that, and then it asks you based on like the information you gave it initially what slides, so it will like give you a list of slides that it thinks that you want. Oh, and it also asks how many slides, like do you want it to be like a short and sweet, do you want it to be like a super deep dive, do you want so first you do that, then it gives you the list of slides that they thinks you like you should include, and you can
mhm.
pick from those, and then yeah, then it just like if it doesn't have enough information it'll gather more, but most of the time it has enough just from like my initial description. um and then it outputs it. Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool. I would love to see like the output from that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that is like definitely one where I could release like very easily. It's just like generic enough I could just put it out now. Um
Put it out there. Yeah. It's cool.
yeah.
Maybe we could drop it in the comment section for our viewers.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think we should yeah, In the description below, we'll put, do you have like a form or something to sign up?
I will.
Okay. Yeah, we will put information about your document. Um, I will, yeah, I'll put mine up and then that will be also in the description. So,
Yeah. Check the yeah, the description, check the comments, like, subscribe.
don't forget to smash that.
Don't forget to smash the subscribe.
But yeah, those are good. Yeah, very fun, very exciting. Um, do you want to move on to
Was sure.
it's so funny, like just to start, as I was writing the notes for this, I kept being like, I kept saying like the current state of React state management. And I was
Yeah,
just
right.
putting on state, like state.
State of the state.
But I thought today actually, as I was like writing it, because I was like going back through my notes and everything, I was like, the landscape.
The landscape. Yes, totally.
Uh, we're gonna talk about the current landscape of React state management. And it's interesting that you were talking about kind of like the history, and you said when you last did like a full on start to finish React project,
Mhm.
it was very much like Redux is the thing. Yeah, because I think that that was the case. Like pre 2019, it was very much, I don't know if when you were doing it, it was still like very class components. Is that?
Yes, it was. It was class components
Mm,
with Redux.
yeah. So like state was just like this dot state.
Mhm.
It was, I think it was like organized by life cycle. So it
It was
was
like on mount, really.
yeah, like did mount, did update, will unmount.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like very much a life cycle. And that's fine. Like that, like, we got by.
You got by.
But there was kind of like because it was stuck by life cycle, there was kind of this issue of like reusable logic between components. And I think that's where Redux really shined at that point because like there really wasn't anything else. Like I don't know about you. I remember like every project back then, like the first thing you do is you set up your Redux
I
boilerplate.
think that was it. I feel like there was one other thing, but it was like older than Redux, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, but Redux was like the thing at
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
I don't remember. I mean, I feel like there must have been something, but
Yeah. I don't remember what it is at all. Yeah.
I do know there, like I said, like there was like built-in state, like this dot state, but
Mhm.
it really wasn't, it really wasn't that powerful. Yeah. And it was definitely hard to share between components.
Fucking Claude, what was pre-Redux? It's like this dot side state. Oh, Flux.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever touched it. Um, yeah.
yeah. No, I think that was before my time.
Yeah,
Um,
it was like before my time too. I was a couple of years after, I guess. It was around the time that like I guess all of these were kind of having a fight to be the one that's like the state management and ended up being Redux that won. So Yeah.
The victor, Redux.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Redux was like I think the main like the winner and the main person for like shared and global state.
Hmm.
And I think React 16.8, that's what my note says. I think it was that one.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of the hooks, like the baseline hooks that we use today, were shipped as stable. So that's use
Mm.
state, use effect, use context, use reducer. And that was, I think, a big paradigm shift because now the logic was organized by concern, not necessarily by life cycle. Um, and yeah, those custom hooks kind of became um, like a very powerful tool. You didn't just have to throw everything in Redux, you could have a split of concerns.
Mhm.
And that's kind of led us to where we are now.
Okay, okay, first of all, what version of React are we on now? And what's the state, right?
State of state.
Yeah.
I'm gonna state the state of state.
The state.
So yeah, we're on React. I know we're on React 19. I think we're on React 19.3. Is that true? Let me verify.
Could be on React 26 right now. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think the latest version, yeah, 19.2. I think that's what
Mhm.
I said before. Um, and when was that released? I think 19 is actually pretty new. Uh,
Hmm.
let me see. When was it released? Yeah, it was released 19 was released. Where is it? 2024, but version 2, I think that like just came out. Yeah, October 1st of 2025. That's when um that's when React 19.2 was released. So like I think that's like pretty new. Um
Interesting.
yeah. And sorry, one second. Ian is
Yeah, yeah. Hi, are you our guest today?
No, thank you. Want to bring them in? Try to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. I love you too. Okay.
Bye.
But yeah, yeah.
I said
React,
bye, Ian.
bye.
Okay.
Out of here. He's gone.
Okay.
Uh yeah. React 19.2. That yeah, that came out last year. So yeah, it's been, I think it's like a pretty new thing. But I think it's brought a lot of good changes. So yeah. What was the other question you had?
Oh, what's the state of state
Oh
now?
yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we know where we started. Where did we get?
Started from the bottom, now we're
Bottom
here.
here.
Now we're here. And yeah, I think the current state, the current landscape
Landscape, yeah.
is that there's so many more options now, right? And there's, I think, like because of that, there's a lot more things being used widely. So just to name some, there's atomic state. You can use like recoil, which came out in 2020. I think it's by Facebook. And then I actually don't know how to pronounce this one. I think it's Joti. Do you know Jotai? Joe.
I don't know any of these. I was gonna have you say what that, like, I know what React hooks are. I used to like the last time I really seriously used React, it was when the context provider was the thing to do. To use a React context provider, and then there were hooks.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean the React um context provider is like still used. But I guess I'll say like I don't think that the context provider is necessarily a replacement for like state for like global state management.
That
Uh,
makes sense. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like it can be though, right? Because you can just wrap everything in a context.
I mean, like I guess you can kind of use it like it, but it's not that's not its purpose, so it's not really built for that. Um,
Okay. So that's an anti-pattern is what you're trying to tell me.
well,
Okay.
like it doesn't really manage state, it just moves state from one place to another. So with that, you'd still need to use like use state or use reducer.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you, yeah,
Right. Yeah. There's something like within it. Yeah. Right. I got you. Usually like use state and stuff, but like within a context provider. Yeah.
yeah.
I I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that um, yeah, that and like the all of the built-in like custom or not custom hooks, all the built-in like React hooks, I think that those really should be like the go-to in your, in your mind framework.
Mhm.
Yeah, just to quickly like go through the list.
Right. That makes sense because it's basically like whatever you need in the area that you're using, you can just say like use effect or use memo or whatever, and then you don't have to reload it until you need it. And that's basically the entire point of a state provider. So it does most things, it's just usually local.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that yeah, like condensing concerns to like where it's needed
Mhm.
is very important. And I think that with use state, use reducer, use context, all of that, um, that allows you to do it a lot easier than like bringing out like, I don't know, like bringing out Redux for like a whole like UI facing changes. Like that doesn't make sense at this point.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you also have like proxy-based state, which let me look up when this was created. When were you created? Like Xmob. I don't know who is behind that.
The mob,
Yeah, I don't know who owns Xmob.
the X mob, actually.
Oh.
React typo mob. Oh, mob X. Is it mob X or is it X mob?
Oh, sorry, MobX.
Mob X.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Uh, yeah, I don't know who owns it.
Um, who owns it? Sometimes it's just random developers.
That's true. Yeah.
Press enter.
Um,
It's open source MIT license. Nobody owns it. It was created by Michael West Straight in 2015, originally called Mobservable before being renamed. He's a Dutch developer who was working at Mendix at the time, and MobX came out of internal tooling there. Mm. That's the
okay.
like what I want to know is like, did his company that he was working at know that he was going to take that internal tooling and open source it.
Yeah, that's fair. I always wonder about that, especially like the skills that I make at work, because I do a lot of my skill creation, just like tooling in general
Yeah.
at work, because that's when I'm like, oh, I need this thing.
That's when you need it. So then you learn something, you create something, and then it's like, oh, wait, but I could open source this actually, or
Mhm.
yeah.
Like,
I feel like it's valid as long as you don't leave any, company specific things in there.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's not, I don't know. It's not doing any harm. And it also, like, it's not taking money away from the company.
Exactly. I think that that's the point, as long as it's not like a competitor. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're literally not making money off of something open source. So
Maybe, I mean, sometimes they have that little buy me a cup of coffee.
yeah, maybe you want to give me a coffee. I don't know. I drink a lot of coffee, at least 20 a day. Come on.
But yeah. Um, I guess Michael made it. Michael is the creator of MobX. There's Valtio, which is another proxy-based state management. I think it's a bit more lightweight. Um, there's also like other ones. Like if you want like minimal flux, there's Zustand. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize. I like don't like I read most stuff, so I am probably like not saying any of these correct, but that's okay.
It just makes it interesting. Now the viewers get to guess what's the right way to say it.
um that one is pretty popular right now. It's like very lightweight. It's kind of similar to Redux, just with its patterns. But like I said, like it's pretty lightweight. And then also server state, it has it's like a whole other thing. So like React Query is I think the main one right now. That's what I'm used most commonly. And yeah.
That's one I've actually heard of. Like everything else you've said, I think I've heard of MobX, but most of the stuff you said, I was like, oh, okay, this is some tool I've never heard of.
Yeah. I think, and this might just be like my bias for like, I don't know, what I use at my company versus what I use like personally. But from my understanding, like Mustang is really popular, but has um I don't know if it has like the company-wide adoption. Um yeah. So I don't know. I think that React Query is very helpful. And I think React Query with like local hooks or like the native hooks, I really feel like that gets you like most of the way there in this day and age. Oh, apparently Zustand is state in German.
Ah, very smart.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was saying yeah, React Query, it's
So why you gotta yell at Mama all the time? It's really mean. It's so mean. I saw the orange cat chased you over here.
oh,
Right. The orange cat that's a bully, but he also wants to live here.
oh
That's my neighborhood drama, is the orange cat.
dang. The
Yeah.
fucking orange cats.
Yeah.
Let me paste this in the docs.
He actually I have a really cute photo of him like chilling on an awning in my house.
Okay, I pasted the.
Thank you. Oh wait, never mind, that's your phone.
Let me see. Yeah, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so React Query, yeah, it's like it's a server state manager, so it's like a little different, which is why I said that it's like server state managers are like a completely different thing. But yeah, that is basically like the replacement of kind of like Axios. Like I don't know if
Mm,
you've used like Axios before
yeah.
with React.
I,
Um,
yeah, I have used it. I didn't know that it wasn't being used anymore.
yeah, yeah, that's out.
It's
So
out. Old news.
old news, like Axios or Fetch used to do that, and then like it would be what? Trying to think like before you would use it with like Redux and you'd have an action that uses like fetch or Axios to make the call and then it would return something and then you would like take that and you would put it in like whatever state.
Whatever data thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But now with like server state managers specifically like I'll just use like uh React Query, which is now it's actually not called React Query anymore. It's called TanStack Query. They renamed
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah. I'm used to calling it React Query, but yeah, it's actually TanStack Query.
Did they get purchased by someone, or what's up with the name change?
Question, I'm actually not sure. I think um that's a good question. Why was TanStack renamed? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, because it's now agnostic. It's framework agnostic. So like they don't want it to only be known as like React.
Okay, so it's basically like the front end framework query thing. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that makes sense.
Um, but yeah, so like with that, you know, you use TanStack and it will fetch the data for you. It will cache the data for you. It handles like refetching. It has a lot of useful hooks for like pagination, synchronization,
Nice.
like
Okay.
yeah, handles like you know, is loading, is pending, is error, is success, like all of that. Um yeah. And I think because of that, like um I said already, I think it handles like caching, which is very helpful for performance. And I think a lot of things like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of things in the front end, it's either like managing server data or it's managing local state. And so because of that, I think that really like using those two things can get you like pretty far. And I think that like that mindset of like just immediately going to something big is a thing of the past, or it should be.
Doing too much.
Yeah. You
Uh, so it's TanStack and just the React hooks, like the built-in, right? Is
well,
that the two things?
yeah, I mean, I think it depends, right? I think that like instead of saying like this is the thing, like this is what you need to do,
Mhm.
it's more of like a framework of a decision of okay, where is like what is the data that I'm managing or like the state I'm managing?
Mhm.
What do I need to use with it? Instead of just like flat out saying like this is what we use. So yeah, the like the main tools that are used right now. I think I stated them all. Dustin, Jody, there's still like I mean Redux is still a thing. Like there is Redux Toolkit, which is still used. Yeah, so that's like still a thing. Valtio, Recoil, those are all things. I think that Recoil is not really being used right now. I don't think they're working on it anymore.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I guess that just means like don't use it then probably.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of these like open source projects, you always have that problem of like, I'm probably going to be using this for a long time, and then you don't know if it's going to not be supported anymore. So if one's already stalled, maybe don't.
Yeah, don't do that. But I think that some places like still have it, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, I wouldn't suggest using it now. Um yeah, but let me think. Is there where am I?
Oh yeah, what about global state? Because so those are all kind of like local state. Is there a use case for global state still, or is it like you just reload the same thing in a different place, or do you just do like a lot of pass down to component, or like what do you, I guess, yeah, is there a global state? Is that
Yeah.
a normal thing? And what do you do?
Yeah, I mean there still is global state. I think like I I mentioned like Zustin, that's a global state manager. It's definitely still a thing. Like I think it's useful for like user authentication. So like, like jots, things like that. Things that are like will be needed like across components, right? Like non-nested. Um, so like you could use context, but if it's like
It's
that
basically like it
can
might be
get messy.
separate components that aren't even like
Exactly.
sharing the same parent or anything. So like you want to put in the parent state, you'd put it yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So there's still like definitely is a place for it. I just think that it should be small. Like I think if you are dealing with like an enterprise size app, you're going to need global state. But like it should be small and condensed, right? So like for example, my company, we have a global state, um, but we don't really like like we're not building a new one for every application. We have one that's shared across the platform. And again, that's things like, user authentication status. We have like user permissions, things like that. But I'm not building a new one for every project that I'm making. Um, or like adding to that global state.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So it is a thing, but I think that most things should be local, right? So it should be like local first. And then maybe the second one is like the URL. I think that URL state is a very powerful thing that I don't think it's used as much as it should. Or maybe it is used, but I think that it should be like a bigger part of the conversation. Um, because I don't know, I think it's useful, right? Like having that data in the URL allows you to like save where you're at. It allows you to share data to other users. Um, yeah. So, that's good. Obviously, like depends what kind of data you're storing, right? So, I think that if you are putting data in the URL, it should be um, things like search filters, um, yeah, things like that, like things that you would want to like share, right? Like,
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So it's like if you filled something out in a form, like you could persist that in a URL, share that with somebody, they paste it, and then basically they can go do it with the form filled out the same information.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really useful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about as much, but yeah, I think it's like very handy because then it's shareable. Um, and you can't really do that with anything else unless you're like sending it to a server. Um,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. Um, After that, like, well, I guess not after. It's kind of like I wouldn't say like do this and then do this. It's kind of like I don't know, across the board, but you know, async things, server tools, right? Um, and then, like I said, global if it's shared across, yeah, and yeah.
Awesome. So you would do tan stack React hooks, which just that's kind of a default priority, and then tan stack, Zestined, and then maybe URL as state for where that kind of apply for state management, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like different state fits into different buckets. So, yeah, like for example, I don't think you'd even be like, you wouldn't be able to put um local state. You wouldn't be able to keep that with TanStack
Okay, got it.
because it's like specifically a server state manager.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
But yeah.
Right, right. Because tan stack that's the one that it will cache your response basically from an API call.
Yeah.
And it has like loading, loaded, stuff like that. Okay. And then your local state management you'd have in React hooks, which basically is where you might store like use memo or use effect on the tan stack query. Okay. And then, yeah, and then what was the other one? Oh, Zestin. That's something that's for like the global state. Okay.
Yeah.
What makes Zestin for global state? Like, I guess like I'm happy like if I picture that, like try to picture it in my head, like does it do I guess yeah, what does it look like for a global state?
Um, what does it look like? I mean, it's kind of similar in its patterns to Redux, where, it has actions, it has like reducers, and it has like a store. Um, so it's similar. I think it just has like um I think it's a bit more lightweight.
Okay.
So Redux, it has like a provider that's required.
Mhm.
Like you need to create your store and it needs to be wrapped in like the context provider. Um,
Right.
Zustand, I don't think it does that.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Okay, so it's like a type of Redux store kind of.
Yeah, it's I would say it's a like an alternative to Redux. It's like comparable.
That makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Um, yeah, but there's also like with React 19, like React is building more and more internal internal things to make it like how do I say this? React is providing more and more things that make it so that you don't necessarily have to just like
It's like
have a
self-sufficient
lot.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's self-sufficient, right? And you can see that with like the use state, use effect, use context, use reducer, but there's also um more hooks that have come that I think are like pretty useful. They're new from React 19. Um, and yeah, I think they're pretty cool. So I have a couple of them that I think I just have two that I wanted to point out because I think they're cool. So one is use action state. And this one, I think it's mostly used for like form submission. I think that's where it shines mostly. But you give it an async function and the like initial state just kind of like you would with like initial state, kind of similar to how you would with like use states.
Mhm.
The first one is the async function, so it could be like calling something or something like that. Um, but it gives you back the current state, the dispatch function, and then a pending boolean. So that is kind of similar to TanStack, where it holds the state, it gives you the action to like dispatch the like the given reducer action, and it holds is pending. So that's kind of similar to React or not React, to TanStack. And I think it's interesting kind of seeing the way that React is going. I could potentially see a future where we have like more server state management built in, um, kind of similar to this, where we don't need another thing. Um, so that's pretty cool. Another one is use optimistic, which I think is pretty cool. It's kind of along the same veins, I think, like thought wise, as like suspense. I don't know if you know about like the suspense React.
No.
So the suspense component basically allows you to have a fallback component when something is loading. So yeah, it essentially like, allows you to have a fallback boundary for when things are loading, or which is yeah, it's pretty useful. So like if anything is loading, it will like bubble back to the suspense, which is pretty nice. um
Oh, okay, I got it. So it's like a suspended state, like preloading state. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And use optimistic is kind of like that. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of in my head, it's kind of like that. So it will equal, it'll like, so it takes in the um it takes in the optimistic state and then the value. So basically, okay, actually, let me say this again. So use optimistic, it will optimistically update the UI. So it holds state. So what you can do with that is you can hold state. Like, let's say the state is, I think the docs uses uh, like a rating, right? So like let's say you give something a thumbs up, that bumps up the counter by one. Um, you ideally want that count to go up as soon as they click the button. You don't want to wait for the server to like come back. And so before, what you would have to do is kind of like, trick that on your side. But what use optimistic state does is it toggles between the optimistic state and the actual state for you. So what that means is it will equal to the value unless the action that you give it is pending. And then in that case, it will equal to the like optimistic value.
Oh, interesting.
So like you would have a reducer, like for the rating one, we'd have a reducer that the state returned would be like we would have it like, be value plus one or something.
Mhm.
Um, so while the action is pending, it would be the state returned by that. And then once it's finished, it automatically updates the state to the actual value.
Okay, so basically you can use it as long as you don't need data consistency.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does go like it snaps back to the actual value.
Yeah, actually, yeah, eventually. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like basically if like you can't use it if you have to be exactly accurate all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no. Yeah, it's just for the like yeah, like I said like small things that like you would want that like optimistic, but it's okay if it
If it's a little off, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So those are just some things like I said, I think with the use action state like that's really um that's like a more like the scope of when you would use that is like smaller. Same with like use optimistic. I think that that's like really cool. But like these don't necessarily mean like it's not time to throw out the other things. I'm not saying that people should like only use native React because I don't think that that's true. I just think that there's a lot of tools that that are out there that are native to React. And I think the baseline is moved so we can, like instead of immediately just going to the biggest thing, like we should have buckets, like a mental model of buckets of where our data should go. Instead of immediately looking for a bucket to put everything in, I think we should be, sorting out our state.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Is there anything else? Do you have like any questions? I don't know if I like rambled too much or like if anything doesn't make sense.
No, because I think I asked a lot of questions kind of along the way to get an idea of, what everything is and like the stack and stuff. Let me see if there's anything else that might be helpful for our viewers. Check my questions I was possibly gonna ask. Well, no, I think you actually covered everything that I was gonna ask about, so yeah.
Boom.
Good job.
Thank you for letting me ramble at you. Hopefully it was interesting. I know you're full stack, but I don't know if like front end is
Not my expertise, no.
your passion, so I don't know.
I find it really interesting, just because it's one of the areas I've explored less. So yeah, I find it interesting.
Nice. Well, I'm actually I'm getting back into back end. I'm brushing up. I'm gonna dust off the Python and the Django
Yeah.
and all that. So I'm probably gonna need your help soon.
Oh, yeah. Is that for an AI project or
No, it's I don't know. It's just because I have to.
just because you have to? Okay, that's fair. Cool. Yeah, thank you for giving this presentation, helping myself and our viewers like understand state better and the best ways, the current best ways, the current state of state, the current ways to handle it, and the four pillars of state. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug or anything like before we head out?
I can talk about like my neighborhood cat drama.
I don't know.
No, no, no. Not really, I guess. We did the tech tool tips in the beginning. But what do we want to do in our next video? Do we want to decide that now and we can let them know, or we
Yeah,
don't have to?
I think you were mentioning before um during the tool tips you had something.
We can do that. Yeah. Also, if you wanted to, you could show them how to do a skill, maybe like your skill that you think would be widely usable. Maybe just show, like, use that as an example, show them how to make a skill. And then if we still have time, like, I don't know, how long do you think that would take to show them how to do a skill?
I mean, I feel like still skill creation is like pretty straightforward, so it shouldn't take like we could probably do half an episode for that.
Half an episode. Okay. And then maybe the other half talk about the LLM uh, eval, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
LLM evals.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Yeah, also down the line, I would love to talk about accessibility.
Yeah.
I've given some just like internal talks about it. So, and also, I don't know, it's something I'm very passionate about. So I'd love to share that and talk about that.
Yeah, that would be great. I think our viewers would love that. It's a great topic. Cool. Okay, so I guess our next one will be we will show you guys how to create a skill. Chelsea is going to show you that. And then I will talk about different evals that you can run for your agents. Yeah, so I guess we will see you next time. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.